Hey guys, in today's video I will be talking once again, doing a tropical update on Tropical Depression 5 and this new disturbance the NHC is now monitoring. That will, if we go to the 5-day graphical tropical weather outlook page, the 5-day outlook, it shows the system heading kind of generally eastward, crossing Florida and then re-emerging into the Atlantic and pretty much riding right along the east coast and then heading kind of north. So we'll see how this goes. It has a 10 to 30% chance of development within the next 2 to 5 days. Especially once it emerges into the Atlantic, it has a much better chance, according to the NHC, for developing because environmental conditions are expected to become more conducive for development. Now, Tropical Depression 5, it is still a tropical depression. It has really taken its time and has had a lot of struggling to really try and become a tropical storm because of the fact that it's been battling dry air and wind shear. Right now, I think it's battling some decently strong wind shear as well. Though the NHC is still expecting it to become a tropical storm later today. The 11 a.m. advisory still has a tropical depression, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll really just have to see for the next few advisories, see how it goes. But for right now, I'm really thinking that this new disturbance will get named, not this one. So, you know, that's that. The ocean analysis right now, I mean, just quickly looking at what the ENSO is right now, kind of, it is negative again. It's at negative 0.021 degrees Celsius as of the 6C run today. So it has started to cool down a good bit more than it has lately. It did go positive for a bit of time the past couple of days, but now it's going back negative. So we'll see how that goes, see if that's going to continue that trend, or it'll just kind of continue to stay around that perfectly neutral line. Here's the ENSO region right here. You can see it's generally cooler than average over here around South America, and then now getting towards the Central Pacific, but then it kind of warms back up here. So that's generally why it's kind of more of like kind of cooler neutral, but it's like more of a neutral, not really getting towards a La Nina or an El Nino. And by the way, it's not going to become an El Nino at all. There's pretty much a 0% chance of an El Nino forming. Here are the sea surface temperatures for the Atlantic, the whole Atlantic basin. You can see the MDR region is really warming up still. It's continuing to warm up. Getting towards the Caribbean and the subtropics region. You know, the subtropics region is north of Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, around the Bahamas. It's much warmer. It's really around 80 degrees plus there. And then getting out here, it's a little cooler than 80 degrees, but still it's, of course, warming, so this whole area is going to be engulfed in 80-plus degree waters at some point soon, most likely, especially once we get towards August, getting towards the end of July and August. This whole area will definitely be in the yellows, oranges, and reds. But as you can see, the warmest areas are in the very northern Caribbean, very eastern Gulf, really right around Florida. Florida Straits, generally. This is the area between Florida and Cuba, the Florida Straits right here. It's probably generally the warmest part right now of the whole Atlantic. And, you know, that's going to be something we're really going to have to watch. You know, the Gulf, of course, the whole Gulf is generally very, very warm. Definitely anywhere between 80 and like 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Maybe in these regions a little warmer than 90 degrees even. So, you know, of course, the Gulf, these areas around Florida we'll have to watch. But even the whole East Coast, we're really going to have to watch now just because of the fact that the East Coast especially is warming a lot more and a lot faster, I think, than we originally thought it would. Of course, especially along the mid-Atlantic southeast coast, it's the warmest, pretty much right around 80 degrees and above. And then even the northern mid-Atlantic and then the northeast coastline, it's cooler than 80 degrees, but it's still warming pretty well. And it's right now it's between 70 to 80 degrees Fahrenheit. So, you know, we're gonna really have to watch if any of these tropical systems end up wanting to go up the east coast. we'll have to see if it will kind of move out of the Gulf Stream waters, but kind of still head northward up towards the northeast in New England. So that's definitely something we have to watch pretty closely. Now let's look at the forecast models. We'll look at the GFS. We'll look at the eastern U.S. first. You can see there's the system. We're watching this Tropical Depression 5. You can see the models, or you can see it's just showing it continuing its fast-paced movement to the north and east, and then it'll get engulfed into a cold front by like Monday. But it's really now we're gonna see this new disturbance try and do something and see how it forms. You can see there's like this potential of like some kind of low pressure system, maybe is like right on the coastlines of the Carolinas. Well, there's the low pressure system right there. So you can see, I mean, the low pressure system is very close to the water, so we'll have to see where it goes. Like if it's much closer to the coast or even right along the coast, it's not really going to develop too much. But it seems either way, this disturbance will move pretty much up the whole East Coast and bring very heavy rain, especially getting towards New England, southern New England. But we'll have to see if it does trend to be a little more offshore. It could become a tropical system, and we'll just have to keep our eyes out for that. Let's look at the vorticity. Bring this back. So there's Tropical Depression 5. Its vorticity is it's like decent, but it's still very displaced. It's not really kind of around the center. It's kind of just to the north and east of the center and east of the center. And then there's this new disturbance here that we'll be watching. There we go. Move that farther out in time. There's that vorticity. You can see it kind of tries to form some stronger bits of vorticity here, maybe towards where that actual low pressure center is. But we'll have to just keep watching, because this system doesn't really look to... The system looks to take pretty much a whole week to really get itself moving and trying to get itself together. And then it really won't kind of affect New England and the coastal Northeast until next weekend. So, next weekend we'll have another chance of some rain and storms maybe for us in the southern New England, coastal Northeast. So, just got to keep an eye on that. Let's look at the winds for this. The wind in association with this, you can see, by the way, Tropical Depression 5, the GFS does have the winds for Tropical Depression 5 kind of actually get strengthening towards 52 to 58 knots, which is very interesting to me. And this is by around 2 p.m. tonight, or so, 2 p.m. this afternoon, or so. So, I mean, I don't know, I guess we'll have to watch for the next advisory, see what happens with that. But let's look at the winds for really this new system. And you can see the winds for this system start to really strengthen as it heads farther north and gets towards the coastal parts of New England and the Northeast. It starts to get towards between 40 46 knots, even maybe some pockets of 46 to 52 knots. So, it kind of does try and strengthen a bit. We'll have to see how much it would strengthen and see if the low pressure, actual center of the low pressure will be either offshore enough to kind of try and develop into maybe something tropical, or it'll just be on shore, and like just be on shore, like right along the coast. So it won't really develop too much. So, we'll just have to just keep an eye on that. Let's see the CMC, what the CMC is showing. Let's go to the precipitation. This is the 00Z for the CMC. This is its most up-to-date run. The 12Z runs for both the CMC, GFS, and Euro will be coming out within the next few hours, so we'll see how that goes. You can see there's Tropical Depression 5 for the CMC. What the CMC is showing, you can see it's not really showing too much of it like the GFS is showing, and then it'll get absorbed into a cold front. And then there's this new disturbance we got to watch. It's actually showing a low pressure system for it, an actual low that we can track here. You can see the low will be generally, as of right now, forecast to be like just onshore, kind of, very close to the shoreline, very close to the water. So we'll have to see if it trends more towards the water or back over the water. But you can see it just trends it to have, either way, brings pretty decent amounts of heavier rain towards northeast and New England. So let's look at the winds for both these systems. And you can see there's Tropical Depression 5, kind of shows it. It does also show it kind of trying to become a tropical storm as well, so I guess that's why the NHC is still thinking that it will become a tropical storm today. And then here's that new disturbance. You can see the winds kind of pick up with this a bit. It gets kind of generally between really 34 to 46 knots at most. We'll have to see if it gets that kind of gets updated to be higher sustained winds with this system, if it trends back towards over water or not. So, we'll just have to keep our eyes on that. Then let's look at the vorticity for this system. So you can see there it is. It starts getting towards around the coast, and it does spin up. The vorticity it gets kind of a little better defined as it gets towards North Carolina, Virginia, then spins itself out, getting up towards the northeast in New England. We'll see how that vorticity trend goes for this system as we head into this upcoming week and going through this upcoming week. So, of course, this system will really change. I'll show you what the European model is showing for especially this new disturbance. Change it to forecast loop. Okay. Bring this down. Get rid of this ad so you guys can see it better. All right. You can see there's that Tropical Depression 5 moves out, and it's not really showing too much for it. Then there's this new disturbance. The Euro, surprisingly, is showing it really kind of just offshore most of the time for this new disturbance. So it does show it trying to strengthen a bit more. And even though these waters up here are a bit cooler, like offshore of New Jersey, Delmarva, Long Island, Connecticut, Rhode Island, they're still warm enough to kind of try and sustain some tropical activity, tropical systems, and tropical development. So, we could see the system try and strengthen a bit, kind of try and make itself become a tropical storm or something. We'll just have to see. And also the Euro is just showing this system bring heavy rain as well to coastal New England and the Northeast. So now, real quick, I'll show you the winds for the system. Here. You can see for Tropical Depression 5, kind of shows it getting towards maybe 35 to 40 knots, so maybe barely trying to become a tropical storm. But it's really this new disturbance we're going to have to watch. You can see the winds for the system. It shows it really trying to strengthen, getting towards, between 45 to 50 knots. Bring this out more. It definitely has the sustained winds still, according to the European, to become a tropical storm. So, we'll have to see how that goes, and we'll have to see what the NHC will think going through the next few days, going into this upcoming week, see what their thoughts are, what they'll change with the percentage chances throughout the next, with their 2 to 5 day increments for the system. Real quick at the end here, I just want to take you to the Wikipedia page for the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season. Again, we've had a total of 5 depressions because of this 5th tropical depression that is formed that we thought could become Edouard. I mean, it looks like there's still somewhat of a chance that it could, but really we'll just have to watch out for this new disturbance NHC is watching for it to actually become named. But, I guess this is still kind of a sign that, July, the Atlantic's really trying to start to wake up for tropical systems. And, we'll just have to see how that goes. And then, we'll just have to see how it goes for August and September. Because, that's the peak of the hurricane season every year, particularly between middle of August to middle of September is really that huge peak of the season, really the main peak. But really, August and September throughout both those months is really when the majority of tropical systems happens. So, that'll be really interesting to see this year how that goes. But yeah, I mean, this is the end of this video. I will keep you guys updated on these systems, and especially this new disturbance as we go into this upcoming week and towards this upcoming weekend. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please like, comment, subscribe below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.